Hello everyone, this is Daniel Cebrian and I'm gonna present you a work of role-playing as an activity to work on a student's perception of nuclear energy and risks. I have worked with Enrique España Ramos and Antonio Joaquín Franco Marisgual, and all of us are working in science education at Malaga University in Spain. In this presentation, I'm gonna start with the framework of the role-play. I continue with socio-scientific issue, then the research objective, the methods, how are we deploy the role-play game, some results. The role-play is an activity that can be played in socio-scientific and socio-political context for primary school students and also for pre-service elementary science teachers. Authors have highlighted the importance of treating socio-scientific problems in science classes using activities such as role-play in which debating plays a key role. This socio-scientific issue is related to the energy, in that case nuclear power plants, and how the student know these kind of concepts of the energy of power plants generated. These are some questions that the student has to think about it during, before and after the role playing. Question, for example, of should we use or extend the life of nuclear power plants? Are the pre-service elementary science teacher prepared to know the concepts of this kind of plants? Is the consumption of non-renewable energy an issue for the humanity? This work is a little part of a bigger research that aims as a goal through the role-play to let the student know more about nuclear power plants and the environment issue. And also, it's a preliminary analysis of a student's perception about this socio-scientific topic. This image represents the methods that we have used in the whole project. Here we are only going to analyze some of the questions of the survey of the pre-test and post-test. Both questionnaire has the same questions, but we are only focusing 3 of that questions. These methods use 2 sessions. The first one, we are going to introduce the role play as an activity for teachers to the students and how a role play is done with the students. And at that time we are going to give the questionnaire with the pretest to let us know how the student perceive the nuclear energy. During a week they have to seek facts, evidence, and to prepare the role. In the second session is the role play of the nuclear energy context. They have to represent the different roles as a game. After that, there is a post-test of the same questionnaire at the beginning, and we are going to know if there is a change of perception before and after the game. During the week before the game and after the game, the student has a homework. First, they have to collect the facts, grounds, or evidence in order to defend a role. And second, they have to set the source of each fact, grounds, or evidence in the right-hand side form that you can see. There, it's written in Spanish, but basically we represent a role. In that case is a scientific that play on the other side of the nuclear plant, is related to the ecologist, and they think that the renewable energy is much better, and the student have to collect all the facts ground on the bottom side that you can see that there you can have the facts, and on the right side during the game there were 3 groups. one in favor of the need of extend the nuclear power plant's life, the other against, and the third one are impartial and have to take the decision if they want to extend or not the power plant's life. Nobody knows the role of anyone, and each one has to decide and to reveal the role of everybody. The student has different objectives into the game. First of all, they have to reveal all the different roles. Second, they have to convince the impartial role to accept or decline the extension of the nuclear power plant. That in that case, in this context, we took a Garoña's nuclear power plants to put the context into Spain. And the third objective is for the impartial role that has to decide whether they want to accept or decline the extension of the nuclear power plant. On the right hand side, you can see the different roles at different rows. For example, the first one, the ecologist; second one, the scientific that play in against the nuclear power plants; a citizens, a lobby, whatever. They have to take notes of different facts or evidences of different names to reveal at the end of the game. As a result, we can see here on the left hand side a pretest, and on the right hand side the post-test result of the perception of the student who extend the nuclear plant life. The question was, should we extend the nuclear power plant life? This is one of the examples of a response of a student that says the law should not be changed because there is a high risk of contamination in the long term as a result of waste treatment, and the costs involved are extremely high. Another response of a student who is against the extension of the nuclear power plant said, I think the law should be changed in order to extend the operating lifetime of this plant and not have to invest in new infrastructure. The second question shows how the perception and the concept of the gases emitted by the power plant change in the pre-test and post-test. Now the student knows that the water was emitted by the power plant instead of contaminants or another gases. The last question say that the number of students who was thinking that in the pre-test the chemical process in a nuclear plant was a nuclear fusion or a nuclear reaction was changed to a nuclear fission. What is right? As conclusion of this work, we can say that the role play is an activity that helps the pre-service elementary science teacher to learn the concept and processes in a nuclear power plant, as we have seen in the result of these questions. As part of this role play, but not included, the pre-service students could practice the scientific argumentation and help to give facts ground to the statements. For future works, we would like to analyze the recorded audio and the response of the game with all the refutation and argumentation during the role play, and also link the simulation with the real activism activities. Thank you for your attention.